Well, I think the great thing is we got a lot of great competition still. I mean, I met with the four ends who have gotten most of the work, and I can't tell you who the starters are at that group yet, and that's a good thing in a lot of ways because how they've been competing, and then inside we're still trying to build it. You know, Shy's coming along, which is exciting. Quay's coming along, so. You know, I think we've got more depth, obviously, than we did in the spring, but I like some of the things we're doing. I don't like all of them.
You said a couple of weeks ago you wanted to try to play 10 if you could. You think you can get to that number?
I believe we will. I don't know if we'll be there on that first week, but I think as we continue to develop and, you know, with some of the younger guys, DeAndre coming in January, he got a little bit of a head start on some of the other freshmen, but, you know, just the progress that we keep trying to make.
You said you didn't know who your starters were, and what do you like that group is doing? Obviously, there's a lot of production loss from a year ago. What do you like out of that force?
You know, I think the competition. I think their competition with each other. And, you know, in this first ball game, it's a little different from an offensive standpoint in defending, so your focus and your intensity, it's got to be there every play, or all of a sudden you give up an 80-yarder because you don't do your job.
We know how athletic Darrell Taylor is. How confident are you that he can hold up and run support and get off blocks? You
know, he does a great job with leverage, and, you know, I think DT's about 250 right now, 251. His strength is maybe a little shocking, but he plays with good leverage. He does use his athletic ability. I think he can hold up there, and hopefully what we'll do is keep continuing to get some good depth where we got multiple guys that we can put on the field.
Where would you put Shy at right now as far as being ready, being...
Where he is right now, I think he's made great progress the last, I don't know, 2 weeks, you know, as far as, and I'm not a trainer obviously or a doctor, but I know what he tells me and how good he feels. We got him in some real team stuff yesterday against the offense, which was something he hadn't done, and I think he felt real good about it.
With where he's at and what he's been through and what you're getting ready to play, how hard is it to imagine him playing in that first game, given the offensive style you're going against?
You know, I don't know if it's that hard to imagine, just because I think you see his growth from the health standpoint, but also the mental standpoint, and done a really good job, I think, with the mental standpoint.
How prepared do you feel that your guys are to face the cut blocking, and is that something that's kind of hard to emulate until you see a line that specializes in it?
You know, I've played Navy a bunch, played Air Force a bunch, played you know, Army when I was a young coach, and so I think our guys have really done a good job with preparation. Glad tomorrow isn't game day, but I think the way we've gone at it, I think our guys understand that we got to destruct those blocks.
Quay PQ, Alexis Johnson, those have been a couple names that are in that rotation. Where are those guys right now?
Well, I think Quay is really, he's getting better. I mean, he got a little bit of a calcium buildup on his thigh, but he's done most of the individuals, done a little more team each day. I think he feels better and feels confident. I think Lex had a little bit of a tweak, but he's back at it. Like his progress, and I guess the other guy would be Paul Bain and some of the things that Paul has done.
How different does Alexis just look from his summer with Rock, and it seems like he's in so much better condition now?
Well, y'all know him better than I do, obviously, but I think from spring to summer, through the summer, I think he's done a nice job. I'd still like to shave a couple more pounds off him and me, but I think he's done a good job with working at it. So I'm excited about his progress and where he's at.
What about your young guys? What about the
Well, I think Butler will be the guy who You know, we all have talked about, and we're going to play him a little bit. Sorry about that. Inside in this game, because I think it fits his skill set a little better. I think Crosby's going to be a good football player for us. Ryan's come along. You know, that whole group has done a good job. Are they all ready to play? No, but they're ready to keep learning how to play.
Have you seen a difference with Khalil? Just the way he's kind of reshaped his body. Looks like he's maybe more explosive, a little quicker inside.
Well, I think he's a little quicker. I would like to see him be a better finisher, and I'm not saying anything he doesn't know, but I think, you know, I've got to keep doing a good job of pushing him in that. You know, I think him and I are figuring each other out a little better, and his weight is down, which is great, but he's got to keep it down.
How much y'all seen of Georgia Tech yet? Obviously, they dismissed their top running back from last year. What do you see from their other running backs that they have?
You know, they're kind of cookie cutters. I mean, what they want, what Coach Johnson wants, and how they play the game. When you look at their guards, their tackles, their centers, where the littler guys, the more athletic guys, from the backfield standpoint, you look at the two wings and you look at the B-back, and they all look the same. I know the young man who played for him a year ago, he's pretty good when you look at that tape, but they're real high on one of the freshman kids they have in. So until you get out there and play, I don't know if you know for sure.
Do you know Coach Johnson well? Have you matched up with him very much?
Yeah, when he was at Navy, we were at Ball State and played him, and we're fortunate to beat him 1 year, and we had a 26-year-old Marine block a field goal to win a game for us the next year. So,
What kind of preseason is? Oh, I'm sorry.
Just the camp structure that obviously this year with having the no 2 days extra time, how did that, now that you're done with it, how have you assessed that? Was that beneficial? Do you like that format, or would you like to see it the old way?
I would like to see it the old way. I don't know. I think it really spaced out camp a little bit. I think, you know, and I understand health and wellness, and I'm big into that. But I think at the same time, I think, you know, you got more practices to some degree, and you got a longer time that you're in camp.
What kind of preseason has Kyle Phillips had?
Yeah, Kyle's done well. He's had a good preseason. I like how he came back. He feels good, which is important. Good leadership by him every day out there. Him and Kendall Vickers both, I think, do an excellent job that way. But Kyle's done a nice job and had a good fall camp.
I know you weren't here in the past when he was playing defensive tackle some, but have you seen any film from the past, and does he feel maybe more natural at defensive end?
Well, I think he is. I think, you know, and then when we get in, you know, some exotic things, you know, when you look at third downs and those kind of things, you know, he could fit inside, you know, and I think Combo can fit inside still, and I think he's a lot happier with that this year than he was a year ago. But I think Kyle, number one, he's got great knowledge of the game. He's one of those guys who picks things up well and goes out and does them in a real, he has a high standard for what he does.
Has Eric Crosby been a surprise to you? What has he surprised you at all with what he's done in camp?
You know, Eric's a pretty daggone athletic guy for a guy as big as he is, and I would say yes. You know, not being and seeing him enough in the recruiting, obviously, but yeah, he's a guy that I think's got a lot of, I shouldn't say this, a lot of good potential in his future.
Any chance he could play this year in a situation?
I would love not to. If we're healthy enough, you know, we can rotate 5 guys through there, then I'll be happy. You know, I hope, knock on wood, hopefully we don't have to this year.
Last question.
What would you like to see most out of your group over the next week and a half?
Well, I think our discipline continued with our eyes and, you know, playing triple option football, and then the physicality that we got to have inside. Those 2 tackles got to take up the guards, the center, and the fullback, and they have to do a tremendous job. They're going to get knocked down. Somebody said something about getting cut. Hell, you're going to get cut, but it's what you do after that, and that mentality that you need to play with.
Thanks, guys.